Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Near Darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where I'd say mostly recovered, I suppose, from the illness. I still have a bit of a sore throat. It's not as pronounced, I don't think, but you can hear a slight sort of rasp and husk in my voice, or at least I can. I don't know if maybe you can't necessarily. So I'd imagine at least by the time weekend rolls around, my voice should be probably back to normal. I still have a bit of a cough, but it's not as extreme, I think. I recorded an episode of Mori, which I probably should check actually if it got uploaded and that sort of thing. I'm pretty sure I did, but anyway. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6:11 PM on Thursday, October 6, 2022. Yeah, I recorded an episode of Mori. It's quite an amusing one, I suppose. Not much really happens plot-wise. It's more combat or puzzle focus, I suppose, which is a good part of the story to be in. Oh, it's already uploaded, of course, because it's past 6 PM right now, so it's already been out for 11 minutes. It's just the most amusing part of it. A part of it, I think, was me trying to do Aubrey's voice in it. If you don't know Aubrey's basically a young girl, and and often when I do those voices, I just basically raise my voice up as high as I can go. That's quite hard to do with a sore throat. Your pitch becomes a lot lower, and with a sore throat it becomes a lot more resonant. At least it does sound like that to me. Like, I don't even know I could do it right now. Oh wait. It's a bit croaky. It kind of sounds like someone impersonating. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I sound like a young child, I suppose, when I do those voices, but, Aubrey's definitely sounds the weakest, and it just sounds even weaker. Aubrey. No, I can't do it. I was thinking about it yesterday as well, because I was just like, what if I just try to sing? I can't remember what I tried to sing, and then, but obviously I didn't put that much backbone into it, because if I did, then I probably would have been like, my throat, it burns. But yeah, sad thing is sore throat. You're not meant to really sing in first place. You're kind of meant to give your throat a rest or whatever, so you don't speak as much. You I don't know, really. I'm not really like a throat doctor or whatever, but presumably you're not meant to speak as much or whatever, and you keep things chill. Here I am, still recording Animal Crossing videos anyway. Although I gotta be honest, these 20-minute videos are quite nice. They feel a lot more compact. I'm not quite. I think 22-minute might be the sort of perfect amount, but I'm gonna aim for 20-minute every time, because 22 minutes will run on to that if it does. Because 30 minutes, especially within the past 100 days or so, it's too long. I get to minute 22 and be like, I don't know what else to talk about. I've kind of run this conversational course and we're not doing anything. 20 minutes is a little bit, I'd say, on the short side to do what I normally do in my Animal Crossing. There's very little time to actually get stuff done, which is fine, because there's not really much we need to get done. We go to Harv's Island. There was literally nothing else really for us to do in Animal Crossing. It's all very much sort of just vibing with it as we see fit. So it's not really that big a deal, but it's just it's just not quite enough time to do things. Go to Harv's Island, of course, go to Katrina and get our fortune told, and then maybe do 1 or 2 daily missions here. It's not. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to do, but it's not really that big deal. Because, as I said, there's not really anything to collect anymore in Animal Crossing. At least not that I can think of it. The only thing which, the only ongoing task we are doing, I am doing, is to try and get all the lucky items on Katrina. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We talked about Animal Crossing enough. What can we talk about? Oh, you know what we could talk about? We could talk about the fact there's a new Pokemon trailer, as I understand. I don't really know much about the trailer because I haven't actually watched it, I would say, but I know there's a new Pokemon evolution, and if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm about to spoil it in 3, 2, 1. Giraffe got an evolution called Farig Giraffe or something. A very amusing name, I'm not gonna lie, but it's kind of cute, I will say. It doesn't look it looks good, is what I'll say. It's just it's not quite what I expected from an evolution, because the whole thing with Giraffe is sort of it's split in two, right? The back half and the front half, and now I guess it kind of makes sense. They've now sort of symbiotically combined into one. It very much looks like Farig Giraffe is wearing basically its tail, its old tail now, as a onesie or something. It's got a weird mask on, but there's a very strange colour. It's basically it's wearing a dustbin sort of mask, because it's got 4 antennae, and the back 2 are brown, in keeping with the rest of its coloration. It's just got 2 random black ones at the front, which kind of look I don't know, a space hopper or something. I don't know, it's quite cute though, and it's got fierce eyelashes, so, you know, thumbs up for me. Thumbs up for me whenever Pokemon can do makeup better than I can. You just got to be impressed with it at that point. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to say about Pokemon and that sort of thing. I mean, apparently there was not many details coming out about it. I'm not like, I do like Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but I'm not just like, wow, you know, I'm not like losing my mind over the fact that we got new Pokemon coming up. I'm just like, I kind of want to see the cool designs, I want to see like, I want to see the new environments and that sort of thing, but apart from that, I'm just like, meh. It is what it is. I mean, to be fair, I did buy Pokemon Sword like on the day it came out, which is unusual because normally I give it a bit of time, but I guess it was just sort of like hype around the new Switch one. And what I think of it, still haven't beat it to this day, but that's standard for all the Pokemon games I play, so, you know, nothing too new and exciting there. What else can we talk about? I don't really know. I'm going to be honest. I'm just trying to think of a conversational thread. Overwatch 2, there's, as expected, controversy going on with that. I assume it's like been fully released today or yesterday. I don't really know. All I know is Video Game Donkey made a video about it and made a video about the fact that he basically couldn't load into the actual game itself. Fair enough. Excuse me. I saw something about like a phone requirement. You like have to have a phone to play the game. I saw that on Reddit. I don't really know how true that is. So something along those lines. I don't know, because there's not many games. I'm trying to think, like actual games I've played where I have to have the phone to participate. You know, because it's an interesting thing. Which I know specifically about like South Korea. Is the fact that if you want to play games where a lot of games require you to basically use, it's not the, I don't think it's the equivalent of like your social security number, but it's basically like an identifier for every single citizen or something. You basically have to sign up to games using that. I'm not exactly sure why. I assume it's because they have laws about gaming and age, like there's only like a legal amount that a public service can provide or something to certain age groups or something, basically because like the South Korean youth have like a over gaming problem. I mean, they have some other problems, I'm sure as well, like overworking and like stress, I'd imagine, but I'm not really an expert in South Korean culture, so I'm gonna, you know, defer to other people for that. But yeah, I just know that you're meant to use your like a special like South Korean like identifier or whatever you have to actually register for games in the first place. Like I know League of Legends probably the biggest game in South Korea at the moment. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I kind of assumed it is. You kind of had to register with like an identifier. And I also know, because this is such a random niche story, but way back in the day I used to be quite a fan of the anime called Sergeant Kero. I can't remember how the theme song goes anymore. I watched quite a few episodes, but don't remember what I got to. Can I still remember the characters as Kero, Tamama, Giroro, Kururu, Dororo from the main team? I don't remember anyone else, I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember what the humans are called, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I used to watch that a lot when I was younger. So much so that I actually technically have made fan art of that, where I made my own squad, like my own like group of 5 or whatever who like were their own like, I don't know, frog squad. And I forget what they're called. It's been so long since I've seen the anime. I remember very little. I remember one of them was like a nurse, like was the medic. I don't remember her name. And you might be like, there is a medic character in Sergeant Kero in the first place. Fair enough. Is that what we're going to talk about? We're going to be talking about Sergeant Kero? I suppose so. I know one of them was basically meant to be like my take on Kururu. So I'm saying all of these names, you don't know who one of them I'm talking about. Kururu is basically the tech, like, weird, creepy guy. Except for he was just like some sort of mad scientist. I can't remember. I just remember his name was Prisasa, which, you know, now I know Japanese. That's an absolutely insane name for like that's an absolutely insane name using Japanese like language. I literally cannot remember any of the others, but basically I used to make them like in MS Paint, you know like how nowadays kids might, you know, the kids who make like art in MS Paint, they use like are doing it for like warriors cats and other things like that. basically I did that with Sergeant Kero. It was not great. I do remember actually, but man, this is such a weird memory. It's come back to me. But I did it in primary school once. Like I was in year 5, 6-ish or so. No, I might have been a bit younger. I don't remember. But basically, you know, it's not too uncommon for older years to basically, you know, during wet play to go to some of the younger years classrooms and basically entertain them and basically help the teacher, like, look after them, I suppose. Give it a teacher break. And I remember, like, entertaining a group of kids by using the computer they had in their classroom. It was a very old computer. Or like one of those big chunky ones, and basically using MS Paint. It wasn't even MS Paint, it was like some discount MS Paint, some like rip-off MS Paint, because I don't even think it had Microsoft, so it didn't have like Microsoft Windows even installed on that computer, because it was basically only good enough to run like CD-ROMs and like maths games and that sort of thing. And I basically used that to create a Sergeant Kero character, and I remember showing a teacher. And I remember the teacher's response, like, it was so weird to me at the time, where, because I didn't know this teacher particularly well, she was actually a new teacher. I remember the kids would be like, entertained, be like, whoa, yeah, it looks so cool. And then like, the teacher coming on being like, I'm like, look, miss, I don't remember her name. And then I just remember she had the strangest reaction, or she just like looked at it, and then like had a slow like nod, as if like, that's nice, honey, and then just like walked away, like saying no words whatsoever. I don't know, like, you know, thinking about it, like a few... Like, at the time, I was like, oh, she probably didn't, like, care. Or was like, you know, she had other stuff on her mind. You know, looking back, maybe she knew what it was. And she was like, can't believe it. There's a weeb in my school. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I remember doing that for, like, a load of kids back in primary school. And I remember, it was also throwing me back. Because back when Windows Live Messenger used to be called MSN, which I don't even know what MSN stands for, Microsoft Service Network or something. So Microsoft Social Network, which used to be our go-to form of communication back in the day. It was weird to think about. They had MSN blogs, or like I can't, they might have been called like Window Live blogs or something at a time, where basically all of us, like in our primary school, we'd all like write our own like mini blogs about whatever. And I remember my blog is so dumb to think about, was but you had to remember I was like 10. Was basically like a philosophy quote blog. It wasn't so much philosophical, but it was basically sort of like, you know how right now I talk about like these random sort of like whimsical ruminations during these sort of episodes. It's basically that, just like in written form. Like one of them I remember was talking about like perfection and practicing to become perfect, and like you know how like I've talked about Mary Poppins as well, but it's basically something about like, oh, you know, practice makes perfect, but nobody's perfect, so nobody... I can't remember, you know, it was that sort of like rubbish, but you know, whatever. But also another part I had of that blog was there was like, you could display images, and one of the things I displayed were those Sergeant Kero characters. And I remember I made, you know, I had my own like squad. I made myself into one, I think, and then I think I made my mum into one or something. Like I talked to her about it. I don't really remember, and I made one of my friends into one. That was weird, is all I can really remember. But, you know, I suppose the very birth of my digital art career. Moving away, Biscuit, absolutely not. You should stay. The very start of my digital art, full stop, I suppose. I don't know, I guess there's not really much to the rest of that sentence. Began on those Window Live Messenger forums. And it's just weird to think about. Those are absolutely gone to lost to the sand of time. Before you ask me, be like, can we see them? No, because unfortunately they're on my previous computer, which I don't even know what happened to that, I'm going to be perfectly honest. And also Windows Live blogs have long been lost to time, and I don't even... Actually, I was going to say I don't even know what email I used. No, I think it is the email I still currently use for Hotmail. I don't use it anymore, I'd like to point out, but it's the one I have for Hotmail. Excise Book Service must be Rowan's. It's one which I still have. I'm not going to tell you it, obviously. I don't think like anything is linked to it anymore, because everything I've moved over. Basically, as soon as I get an email in that old Hotmail account, I'm like, oh, I should probably move this over to like one of the actual emails I use nowadays, which are all Google Mail. I'm not going to be honest. But yeah, I mean, if I can find it, I will find it. But there you go, Sergeant Kero. Used to love it as a kid. I'm still doing. Still quite a lot of fun, from what I recall. I remember the ending scenes, especially the one where it's like, how do you draw these Sergeant Kero characters? that one's familiar in my mind. It's something like da 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 you know ho. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. I don't know, when it goes on like that, and then there's that we have like a breakdown part where it goes da 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 da. Oh, Rowan's photo. Wow, another one. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I don't know, remember why I remember this, but yeah, and you might be like, oh, where do you used to watch? I used to watch on YouTube. All the videos, like, but there's an absurd amount of videos. There's like 300 of them or something. They're all uploaded to YouTube, and I remember so little of it. Like, I wish I could tell you the plot of Sergeant Kero. I don't really remember. I think Kero was like a spy or something, sent to infiltrate Pekapon, which is their word for Earth. And I don't remember the other plot. I do remember some random episodes. Like the one which I always will remember is the one where they were basically went very meta with it, where the squad tried to create an anime. And they basically infiltrated like an animation studio. And it was just like, oh, how is the process done? And they like saw some people doing storyboards or whatever. Like, and I can't remember what Kero does, but Tamama did like recording. No, Kero wrote the script. Tamama did the timing with the screenplay. Kero drew the art. So maybe Tamama did the storyboards. I can't remember. Kururu did the background, and I had no idea what Dororo did. I think music or something. And they all like worked together, and they were like, oh, they're finding it so difficult to begin with, and then they like learned how to properly do it, and then there's like a montage of them doing it properly, and it's like, whoa. I actually remember a lot of this episode. You know, I mean, you get 1 point if you can guess why. You know. Oh, could it be something to do with the fact that you like cartoons and animation and are always fascinated by the creative process behind them? No. Yes. What can we do in like... These aren't very easy ones to do in like a few minutes. I guess we'll chop wood. Yeah, and that's all I really remember from that. I just remember the process of him, like him trying to write with Kero, trying to write a script, not being able to do it, and then just passing off to Mama like empty sheets of paper, who then couldn't work out how to do the storyboarding and the timing and screenplay. He just passed it off to Kero, who couldn't figure out how to draw things, so they just passed it off to Kururu, and when Kururu was like, whoa, he's got wars and wars, and he's got so much, like, so many backgrounds and stuff, which is all done amazingly. And he was like, and they were like, where'd you get these from? And he was like, the internet. And he was like, you can't just take them from the internet, that's copyrighted. And he was like, oh. And that's all I remember. I should find this episode, hold on. Sergeant Kero makes an anime. Episode. It's a good episode. It's gonna be hard to find. List of Sergeant Frog episodes. How many? 7 seasons. Stopped in 2011 though. I honestly thought it was still going on. Anyway, I actually completely forgot what the origin of this, me talking about this was. Okay, so just to tie it all back together, is I was a super fan of this. South Korea released a game based on Sergeant Kero. It was basically like an arena, like a battle royale, I suppose, where you played as one of the characters and tried to survive as long as possible while, you know, attacking everyone else. And I wanted to play it, and it turns out you couldn't play it unless you had a Korean ID. So then I was like, how could I find a Korean ID to play game online? And then I don't know, there would be shady sites, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Sergeant Frog South Korean game. Sergeant Frog Kero. Otherwise known as Gaguri Jungsa Kero, is a Korean adaptation of an anime series. No, not the... Yeah, is this the name? It has its own smartphone action game? Wow. Is this it? I didn't know it was a smartphone. Anyway, this might be it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here. I don't know what's the title of this episode. I guess Sergeant Frog? Sergeant Kero? I'm just going to call it Kero. No, Sergeant Kero. People are going to be pretty disappointed when we watch this video and find out that I've not recreated it or done any art of it. I just talked about it. But, you know, people are generally disappointed when they see these sort of things. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Darling. Any likes, comments, subscriptions, shares, greatly appreciated. Join me Darling Discord, follow me into down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now. I really got to make our outro shorter. It's just too long at the moment, isn't it?